is happening, people? It is Brian Alsruhe with NEVERsate.com, and I apologize for this noise.
It's worse out here.
If you are not aware, there are parts of the world that are absolutely inundated with cicadas right now, and we are one of them. So if you guys hear something very similar to a car alarm going off all of the time in the background, it's just them, and it will be gone, hopefully, in about a month. Well, welcome to today's video where I am going to be giving you guys my top 2 picks for specialty bars, because I know there are a lot of people out there who are building up their home gym and you're just past the point of the basics and you're wondering what is worth spending money on and what is not. So by the end of this, you will absolutely have my opinion. Now, do realize that I am not a gear channel or a review channel or anything like that. There's a lot of those amazing channels out there where they're gonna give you these super close up, slow motion DSLR shots of the brand new equipment, and they're gonna give you the specs and the weight and the smell and the everything about it. That is not what this is gonna be about. What this is myself, which is a guy who has used and abused a ton of different equipment and methods and everything, and all of that boiled down, if I were to choose just 2 specialty bars to spend money on, these would be my choice. Now, your choices might very well be different than mine, but before we can decide that, let me tell you the criteria of which I chose the bars that I chose. The first of which, for me, is going to be the variety and versatility of which I can use the specialty bar for, because if you're going to invest in a specialty bar, it is going to be a decent amount of money. And if I'm gonna spend that money, I want to be able to use the bar often and a lot. As much as I love having a bunch of different specialty bars, something like a log for strongman, I absolutely love the log, and I think if you're gonna be a strongman competitor, it is absolutely essential. However, there's only so many things you can do with a log, so it is a big investment with a little bit of payback. Now, when I'm gonna invest in my very first specialty bar, or if I'm only going to invest in 1 or 2 specialty bars, I want to be able to use it a ton. So the versatility and different exercises I can use, or whatever the case may be, is going to be huge. Second reason why I chose these bars is longevity. And longevity in that, will these bars help me stay in the sport longer, or will they help me stay lifting pain-free for longer? Because this game is all about consistency and how long you can do that. So that's going to be very, very important. So when you're choosing a specialty bar, you need to think, all right, you know some sort of tweak or maybe injury or something is going to happen over the course of your training career. You're trying to make micro tears, and the difference between a micro tear and a macro tear is literally millimeters, and a micro tear means that you're making progress, and a macro tear means that you need to go to the doctor and handle your business. So if you tweak yourself, can you actually use this bar to kind of work around the injury so you can continue to train while being a little bit banged up? Or if you for real injure yourself and you need surgery or something like that, can you use this bar to rehab yourself back to your normal shape? Or can you use this to do exercises that you could not do otherwise? And then also, will these bars help take a little bit of stress off of some of those aches and pains that you get from normal training with a straight bar, thus allowing you to train maybe a little bit more often or with a little bit more intensity without getting quite as banged up along the way. And then finally, my third criteria for these choices are, did these bars actually help me progress? So there is a ton of stuff in this entire bubble umbrella that is considered exercise equipment and training stuff that is a ton of fun to use that really did not do much at all for my actual progress. So I'm gonna spend money on a bar. I wanna make sure that it is actually going to help me move forward towards the goals that I choose. All right, so let's jump right into it. And I wanna start out with my top choice for a lower body specialty bar. And for that, me personally, my choice is going to be the Elite FTS SS Yoke Bar. Now, when you look at this, of course, it is in the genre of safety squat bars, which already are absolutely an amazing addition to your training. And I would highly recommend, if you are looking for a lower body bar, then the SSB is probably the first place that you want to start. However, I am going to tell you why I like the yoke bar the best. Now, I have had the good fortune of using a couple different SSBs. This one in particular, also a knockoff version that was too bad to even really mention. I own a Rogue SSB, and I've also used the Kabuki Strength Transformer bar, but in a very limited capacity. I've also used a ton of other specialty bars that are similar in fashion, like a spider bar or a cambered bar and things like that. And I have to say, out of all of them, number one, this bar is probably the hardest. And when we're talking about something like a specialty bar like this, most likely I am never going to be in a competition that has anything to do with an SSB, so it is not an ego lift type of bar, right? And out of all of the SSBs, I will say that I believe the SS yoke actually works you the hardest. So if you're actually trying to get strong and use it for your training and not an ego lift for Instagram, then I think this is probably your best choice because it does make the movement of an SSB squat harder. I will tell you on the side that my Rogue SSB, I can actually do a lot of things and a lot more weight with that than I can with the SS yoke, whether it be the angles or the padding is different and stuff like that. So if you are looking for an ego lift bar and you just want to push a lot of weight on SSB, I will tell you can do a lot more with the Rogue than you can the SS yoke bar. Do what you want. And the second reason why I chose this bar is because of the quality. For me personally, I'd rather buy nice than buy twice. And the finish on this is absolutely perfect still, and it has been absolutely abused by me and all my friends. And I think probably the biggest difference between this bar and virtually every other SSB that I've ever used is the pad. Because something like my Rogue SSB, if you throw 600 pounds and you give it a ride a couple times, the pad inside of the Rogue SSB is literally not much more than a foam noodle that like a 5-year-old would hit you at a pool. So really, after some heavy weight, there's virtually no padding anymore. And the Elite FTS one, I can honestly say that after a lot of heavy squats and a lot of abuse, it really is virtually the same as it was the day that I bought it. I know Dave has actually put entire videos on YouTube explaining the difference technology that went into that pad and everything. And I gotta say, it definitely does work, because if that pad breaks down, the lift gets easier and easier because it changes the center of balance. And this lift is not any easier now than it was the day when I got the bar. As far as versatility, you cannot go wrong with an SSB because already it changes the squat. When the weights are lighter, it makes the squat feel nice, like you're getting a little hug. And then when the weights get a little bit too heavy, it literally feels like some demon is grabbing the back of your neck and shoving it to the ground as you come out of the hole. So it can do a ton to build both your deadlift as well as your squat. And if you're a strongman competitor, I cannot recommend it enough. It is going to build up exactly what you need for strongman. And also, if you have the inability to do front squats because of some tactical girth or just because you do not have the mobility to do so, you can flip this thing around and it is a decent substitute for the front squat. Overall, you can just do a ton with this. It allows you to stick your hands out wide on the far handles, which makes it feel something similar to an overhead squat, kinda, a little bit. Also, you can go completely hands-free, which is great for building your core, but also going hands-free is great for things like doing a Hatfield squat or a Bulgarian split squat if you don't have great balance with a front foot elevated split squat. You can hold on to some sort of handles. When it comes to assistance exercises, something like the good morning or a lunge where your arms are going to be out on the sides of the bar for a long time. With a straight bar, they will often go numb, or you'll just have some problems there, some cramping, things like that. And with an SSB, between the pad and having the handles in different positions, it really creates a ton of relief, which makes a lot of those assistance exercises not only more enjoyable to do, but you can actually focus on things that you're supposed to focus on instead of just wishing that you could get that bar off of your shoulders. Now with the SS yoke bar, you can also unscrew and replace the handles with longer ones if you do not have the mobility or you want to start feeling pressures in different areas. And you can also take off the handles entirely for something like a JM press and other different variations that you can't really do with another SSB. Now, as far as longevity, the SSB is pretty much the choice of virtually every beat up powerlifter, strongman, strength athlete in the world, because it allows you to bring your hands in. So if you're having some sort of a shoulder problem, elbow problem, wrist problem, which you inevitably will have if you're in this game long enough, then this allows you to train around it. If you were like me and you need to get some sort of big surgery where I was in a sling, I was still able to do squats hands-free or one hand on the bar while I was rehabbing, and then I came back, my legs were stronger than ever because I never had to stop using them. Look, I've done entire videos about the benefits of training with an SSB and its variety and all the different things you use it for. So if you guys need some more in-depth information, definitely go over and check that out. But if you are not using an SSB in your training currently, trust me, it will absolutely, it's a game changer, and it just makes so many aspects of training easier, especially as you get older or if you're beat up or you train with some serious intensity and you feel kind of broken often. Check that one out. And then my top choice for an upper body specialty bar is going to be the Elite FTS American Cambered Bar. Now, what this basically is a Swiss bar or a multi-grip bar that has a cutout in the middle so you can get a little bit more range of motion. Now, I have had the great fortune to try out quite a few different Swiss bars or multi-grip bars in my time, and for whatever reason, this particular bar, the angles of which the handles are cut just make my shoulders feel like they're being hugged by a billion angels. And when it comes to variety and versatility with this bar, of course, you have a ton of options just because you have so many different grips. So you can do everything from old school drop sets where you just change your hand position every single time, or you can throw it on top of a rack and use it as a pull-up bar using different width grips. Of course, if you can bench with it, you can also row with it. So whether you throw on free weights and do more of a traditional barbell row type of activity, that is awesome, but then you can also take advantage of the different grips and just anchor it with a band for more of like a cable type of row where you can really kind of isolate the different muscles of your back. Now, when I was coming back from my shoulder surgeries, this bar was a godsend because it was the first thing that I could actually start benching with or overhead pressing with because of those angled handles. And even that camber in it allowed me to really start working my range of motion and the flexibility in my shoulder to break up all that scar tissue and all that nonsense that always comes with post-surgery problems. These days, even though my shoulder feels good, I still end up using the bar a lot because it is a great tool to teach you how to keep your elbows tucked. For a lot of people who lose power directly off their chest, like you push that bar off your chest on the bench press, you get 3-4 inches up and it comes right back down. A lot of times that's because of your elbow positioning, and this bar will teach you to keep your elbows tucked, which means you have more horsepower in your press for longer. But not only that, it also doesn't allow so many stupid little pec tweaks and shoulder tweaks that come with heavy bench pressing in a pretty regular, intense type of cycle. I really can't say enough good things about the bar. I absolutely love it, and I would not be recommending it to you guys if I did not think it would be beneficial for you. Anyway guys, that is what I have for you today. I know there's so many of you out there that have been building your home gyms because of the pandemic and you're done with the commercial gym scene and all of that. So if you are just past the basics and you are trying to spend some money on some decent equipment, these would be my top choices. No one's paying me to say these things. No one is coercing me. I'm not. Guys, these are just things that I use all the time. I've beat up a lot of other equipment. I would say that this would be the best bang for your buck. And if you are gonna invest, then you couldn't go wrong with these two pieces of equipment. I do thank you guys so much. This upcoming week, I'm actually going to be getting a brain scan to try to figure out why I'm still puking and try to continually improve my health so that I can get back to the man that I used to be and that I want to be and I want to be for all of you. So, guys, I do thank you for all your support and absolutely everything you're doing. I'm thinking about doing a video about the brain scan. I don't know if you guys would care about that or not. So if you would care about the brain scan, leave it in the comment section down below and maybe I'll hit you guys up while I am out of town doing that. But I do thank you guys so much. I hope some of you will find this helpful. I will catch you guys later in the week. Until I do go out and do something amazing, realize, keep working hard, people. Be nice to each other, please. We need more nice people. I'll see you then.